My name is Solmaz. My last name is Barghgir. I have been studying and practicing Carl Gustav Jung's psychology for more than 15 years, and I was in love with it. It was my passion. Then I got honored to be graduated from Tony Robbins coaching school, and I have been practicing as a life coach for more than 6 years now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm helping people in 4 main areas. First, in their relationship with their colleagues, with their friends, family, basically whoever they are in touch with. And then with their finances, of course, because I have a rich background. I used to work for RBC as financial advisor. So whatever we do in life, money is money, right?
100%.
And their career, of course, because people want to pursue new path in their life, or they want to change jobs. That's where my help will kick in. And of course, with their health. You want to be fit, you want to be healthy, and you need a coach to keep you accountable. That's me again. Awesome. I see lots of people are joining.
Yeah, they're joining. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Perfect. So tell us about the book, The Power of Habits. If you can tell us in a few minutes a summary of it in abstract way, then we will have some time, enough time to dive into it. And you've prepared also something for us.
Yeah,
so this is the book.
Yeah, this is the book. It's later in the PowerPoint, we have the book too. So why I chose this book? This book has been my, as I said, first Bible since day one. I learned a lot because I learned what we do in our life and in our business, in our relationship. It's all based on habits. And the beautiful thing I learned with this book was that habits are not our destiny. We can easily change them, ignore them, or replace them. And the beauty of this book, as you know, is that it's all based on one loop. You will have that loop. You can just draw it on your mirror every day and think, whatever you're doing, which part of this loop you are engaging. And you can easily switch it. It's not easy as we talk about, but whatever we do in life, who are we kidding? We should be persistent. We should be working on it like you are doing. And we should be learning from our lessons. Habits are the same. So the beauty of this book is full of examples. It has more than 20 gorgeous examples that he goes around them. He has done lots of researches. I have chosen more than 6 of them because I want to make sure it will dawn on us. We will have it as part of our mindset for everyday life. And that's it.
Awesome. Perfect. So you've read lots of books and you've been doing coaching a lot. So my next question is, why this book? Why you chose this book as number 1 book you wanted to? Because I remember when I talked to you, you were so excited and you said, oh, definitely the first 2 books that you mentioned, The Compound Effect and The Power of Habits, should be there. Why is it so important? What do you think?
As who we are kidding? We are living our habits. We are who our habits are, right? But whatever, whoever Solmaz is today, where she is right now in front of you, what kind of accomplishment or failure she had, it was all because they're all because of my habits, right? So once I'm empowered with this knowledge, I can take control of my life. And then compound effect will kick in to help me how to live my habits properly.
Right. Beautiful. I love the way you link together. So don't forget, next week, Wednesday, we will talk about the other book. Okay, perfect. So now it's 12:07. We have lots of time. Take your time. We just want to go through the book. And you send me the slides. Whenever you're ready, I can share the screen with them so that they can see what's going on. So
let's start it. And everyone can have their questions at the end. Is the best because lots of questions will come to your minds, but I'm sure more than 80% will be answered throughout the whole presentation.
Perfect. I think that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself Oh, Sina is here, and he is also holding the book. I
Yeah,
love
hi,
it.
Sarah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hi,
Okay.
Sujan. So I will just tell you next since the
Sure.
PowerPoint. Yeah,
Is with
and
me.
yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself so that it's all yours.
Thank you, Arizajan. Hello, everyone. Hello again. Today we are going to speak about Power of Habits, my first Bible, as I said. And why I chose this book was because we do whatever we do, whoever we are, is basically because of our habits. And I want, at the end of this presentation, my purpose, my goal is you guys end up thinking that habits are not my destiny and I can change them. That's it. So next is the habit loop. This is what basically every single slide is about. It's about habit loop. The loop has three main components. I will add some later, but it has three main components. The first one is cue. The second one is the routine. And the third one is reward. So next slide is about what is each component. Cue is a trigger that tells your brain to go into an automatic mood and which habit to use. What's routine? Routine is the ritual you're going through. It can be physical, it can be mental, or it can be emotional. And the reward helps your brain figure out if this particular loop is worth repeating it and remembering it in future or not. Next slide is the first implementation of the habit loop. Years ago, in 1980, the writer goes through the researches that they have gone through then, and they noticed that, scientists noticed that if they put mouses in different kind of measles with a chocolate or kind of food that has a specific smell for them, the moment, exactly the minute the gate goes up, there's a click and the mouse knows that should go after the food. The first time turns right, then left, finds the chocolate. They repeat it more than 20 times. And they noticed the mouse doesn't even think after the click noise comes out. It just runs after food. And so in this loop, what is the cue? The cue is click. What is the routine? Running after the chocolate. What is the reward? It's chocolate. Okay. And the scientists went over the brain. It's in the next slide. It shows that there is a specific place in our brain. Our brain looks like different layers of onion. The outer layers are the parts that you have access to the memories, like if Ariza tells me a joke, right? I will remember it for a while. But the inner side, the part that basal ganglia is, this is the part of brain that have devised a clever system to determine when to let the habit to take over. It's an amazing system in our brain. When a habit merges, the brain stops fully participating, the decision making or anything else. The habit takes over. Why? Because without habit loop, our brain will shut down. Will be really overwhelmed by this minutiae of daily life. Without basal ganglia, we lose the access to hundreds of habits that we rely on them every day. Ariza, I have a question for you here. Did you pause this morning to think how to brush your teeth?
No, not at all.
You just did it, right? It's like driving. Because your brain has this habit has taken over your brain system. The brain doesn't think. The brain says, okay, brushing teeth is part of permanent habits. I will know how to do it. I'm not going to think about it, right? But the problem is that when your brain cannot tell which habit is good, which habit is bad, it's your responsibility to take control of bad tendencies. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk about a prominent American executive called John Hopkins. In 1990s, one of his friends approached him and said, you know what, we have this amazing toothpaste and we need you for marketing. He was a little bit doubtful. Toothpaste, people know how to brush their teeth. Why should I invest in it? But a little bit after, he did some researches and he thought that, okay, what can I do for this brand? The brand, the toothpaste was Pepsodent. He thought that, okay, if I believe that in order to cultivate a new habit, I should work on craving. This is one component we are going to add to this habit loop. Craving. Craving makes cue and reward work together. Craving powers the habit, right? So what did he do? He started thinking, okay, I will make a campaign, commercial campaign. What was the campaign? The campaign was that, hey, people, did you know there is a film, cloudy film on your teeth? Of course, you know, you wake up, you feel that, it's like something is on my teeth, right? Oh, if you brush your teeth with Pepsodent, it will go away. And that shiny star will come on your teeth and everyone will be attracted to you. But how did he kick the craving in? Because people, after a while, they could see that people get lazy and they don't brush their teeth that much. So the consumption of the Pepsodent would come down. What did they do? He asked the lab to add some tingling component that is actually totally unnecessary to be in your toothpaste. You still have it. It's like exactly foaming of detergent. We do not need any kind of detergent to make foam. Our shampoo, our soap, our dishwashing soap, if they don't make foam, we think it's not cleaning. But it's exactly the craving of seeing the foam. This is the part of habit loop the companies are using the most. So this is how Hopkins did with Pepsodent. He just kicked in one craving to the habit, and that was it. And the next one is about the habit loop of people who are addicted to alcohol. Let's go to the left loop first. The left loop is goes with the normal loop before they start quitting. What happens? The person's cue is to escape, needs emotional companionship. The person needs to relax. So what does they do? They go drinking alcohol, right? And as a reward, they have this relief, right? So what do these AA meetings do? AA meetings are Alcoholic Anonymous meetings. You have seen it in movies. When someone has a problem, they attend those meetings. They're all shared. First thing they say, my name is Solmaz, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, right? What are these meetings? How they play their role in this habit loop? They're intensely emotional meetings. People get together there, and it's a very severe method to attack the habits that surround the alcohol use, right? It's a giant machine for changing the habit loop. When a person has this trigger, the cue to escape from whatever problem they have, instead of going to buy a drink and drink it, they attend one of these meetings. They call their sponsors. And what happens here? They reprogram the participants' habits, right? They identify the cue and reward, and their routine is changed. And I'm sure you have noticed there is something extremely powerful in a group of people getting together with having a meaning in their lives. These people in AA meetings, their main emphasis is on belief, not necessarily religion, not necessarily God. They believe in a power, in a bigger power than themselves that can help them to go through this difficult time. So this powerful group, they help them to share their experiences. They create new beliefs. They help them to get together to make the change possible. This is another example. Next one is smoker habits. With smokers, I have been working with a couple of people who were heavy smokers. One of them has been smoking since he was a teenager based on some abuses and other problems. when you find what is the main reason we look for to crave for smoking, that's the part we should work for, right? Because we can change the routine there, exactly like the alcohol addicts. So there are plenty of ways. One of them, first off, let's make it clear here, we are not delivering some solutions for this kind of habits. They're long-term work, but we are just finding out what kind of loops we get involved and how we can get out of them. For smokers, it is the changing loop. Instead of smoking, you can drink some different kind of coffee, teas, exercise, and there is still companionship. But still, it's the same habit. You need to replace the routine with a new routine and stick to it. Once the cue kicks in, you should just run away. Yeah, go to the next one. Thank you. Now I'm gonna talk about this beautiful story of a person called Paul O'Neill and how he was selected to be the CEO of Alcoa company. It's an aluminum company of America. At the time in 1987, when he was chosen to run the company's stock value were just running down. They were in so much trouble, and the shareholder of the Wall Street, they approached Paul O'Neill. Before he accepts this offer, he started studying Alcoa, and he found out as a result that Alcoa was not just a family, happy family. The relationship between two groups, which were executives and unions, it was awful. Executives were just focused on how much money they could earn, how on their luxury offices, luxury trips, promotions, having more accomplishment, and being a better face in front of other executives. But the workers were extremely disconnected, and there was no safety there. Okay, safety, I mean regarding to safety injuries for workers. What did Paul O'Neill do? He went through the main basic need that both groups would agree on it. He found a common area there. In other words, here we are going to add one more component to our habits loop. He found a keystone habit and focused on it. What was the keystone habit? I love his opening. His opening in Wall Street, when he wanted to introduce himself, instead of being like other previous CEOs saying, I will make the value of your stock 100 times more, I will do this, I will do that. The first thing he said was that I want to talk about worker safety. Everybody was shocked. All the advisors started calling that, okay, sell your stock, sell your shares. It will drop more. But little they knew what happened here. After he attacked the one keystone and made values clear, he just watched the change ripple. First thing he did, he chose the small win that I'm gonna make the safety priority. And the bigger changes came after. He analyzed why a problem happened, and he talked with his executive about how a process could be changed. He was the example. He started visiting every single plant the company had all over the world. He would go to workers in person and talk to them. When was the last time you had an safety issue? What happened? How did you prevent it? What was the corrective actions? Okay. As a result, his CEOs noticed that if they don't pay attention to this safety matter, there is no promotion for them. And he put this rule that if any safety matter happens in your plant, you have 24 hours, not more, to report me. And of course, he fired a couple of CEOs to make his point completely in their minds. And what happened? Little by little, the small win made bigger. CEOs started going to their workers more. They were more present in their plants to see what's happening here. Any accident would happen, first thing they would report to Paul O'Neill. Second thing, they would find action plans to go forward and to prevent later. And then the workers started thinking, okay, it seems that it's working. They're paying attention to us. What if I suggest better options? Yeah, we can do this. We can prevent this injury like this. So if you look at this, I'm going back to mine. If you look at the loops, the first loop is just craving for endorsement, right? And but the second loop is, no, let's focus on the injury first. The trigger was injury. Then the routine was to report to your manager and work on action plan. Then the third was promotion. Versus just thinking of, okay, I'm just going to think about myself, to elect myself. It's me. I'm the manager. He changed the habit loop to us and to safety. And at the end, in less than 5 years, their stock market went up 3 times. So the value of their stocks. So he was really successful there. And next one is, I'm going to share an experience of myself. After having my son, the first couple of months were the most challenging months of my life, my friends. Every single mother knows what's happening. You just feed your kid, you change, you burp, and the circle goes on and on and on. And the result for me was such an overwhelming feeling that I'm not doing anything, I'm not sleeping, I'm getting depressed. And at the time I was reading Compound Effect. And combining these 2 books together, I remember vividly, one night, 2 a.m., I was thinking, I should make a small change. I need a keystone habit, a very small one, to just take myself out of this whole kind of tornado coming to my life. What did I do? I left my baby and his father every single morning, 6 a.m. I would just leave home while they were sleeping for 30 minutes. And I would go walking. I love nature. I love trees. I love flowers. And I thought, okay, I'm going to enjoy them. Rain or shine, it didn't matter if it was, I had slept 2 hours or 8 hours that night. I would just set the alarm, go out. And the result was amazing, my friends. I started listening to music. Then I ended up listening to more books. Instead of walking, I was jogging. Then I started running. I increased the time. I actually asked a couple of my friends to join me. They would leave their house at the same time. They would walk in the same area around their houses. And we would just keep ourselves accountable to see how much time we will spend outside running. I was less stressful. See, it was a little win, but it turned to be a bigger one. It was a one keystone habit. I was less stressful. I was eating healthier. I could see I'm losing weight. I'm stronger right now. I was more patient. Even one of my friends was a smoker. She told me, you know what, from 20 cigarettes a day, I'm going to chew. It's unbelievable. In 1960s, the scientists at Stanford University did their first research on kids and they called this test marshmallow test. What was the test? They put, I'm sure all of you have heard about it. They put one marshmallow on a plate in front of a kid and they left them in the room and they said, okay, if you don't touch this, when we come back, we will give you 2 and both are yours, you can eat them. Oh my God, these poor kids' faces, they were tortured. I loved it when I saw what's happening. And the best part is later, when they came back to these kids, 10 years after, and they noticed that they called them the ones that they didn't eat their marshmallows, marshmallow ignoring kids. They noticed that those 4-year-old kids who could delay the gratification the longest ended up with better grades, the best SAT scores, because in US you need that to go to better schools, 210 points higher, better schools accepted them, and they had better capacity to cope with important problems. These kids had self-regulatory skills that gave them an advantage throughout their lives. Isn't it interesting? They noticed that self-discipline had bigger effect on academic performance than intellectual skills. As a parent, I learned a lot. I can teach my kid willpower because it's a learnable skill, my friends. We can start it from right now, but it's something that we can teach them, like we teach them how to do math or how to say thank you. We can work on them. Scientists went back to those kids, 4-year-olds, and noticed that those who had this self-disciplinary and they were marshmallow ignoring kids were those who had better discipline implemented at home by their parents. That's how the parents have been teaching them. So I have a question here. If this willpower is a skill, how come throughout the day sometimes we don't have that much of it? Sometimes it's not that consistent. It doesn't come to help us all the time. Because Ali Raza, it's a muscle. Where is your muscle? Next, please. Yeah, it's a muscle. We should do workout with this muscle. We can't just leave it there anytime we want to go grab it. No. If you want healthy, strong muscles, you should practice it. And practice on daily basis tasks. That's why we need to work on our habits, because willpower is a major component that is like a muscle that we can make it stronger and stronger by daily tasks every single day. Most of the kids who could resist eating the marshmallows, poor ones, were the ones that their willpower muscles have been doing workouts every day. There is 2 more examples that, since we have more time, I'm going to talk about them. One of them was the example of how these habits have been used by companies, big corporations like Target, like Walmart, like IKEA. They had this data analysis system that they would go through the habits, daily habits of each credit card users. And they would notice really interesting facts to use in their own advantage. Like they would see that a family is a credit card holder is buying some new sheets. They're buying frozen foods. They're buying, you tell me, some prepaid cakes, stuff like that. There was 2 reasons. One of them was they're moving to a new house. The second one is, Ali Reza, can you guess?
I don't know.
They're getting divorced.
Divorce. Okay.
Yeah, and their data center would create more offers for them. They're still doing that, by the way. Have you noticed that you buy, you buy some bed bugs, the bed bug sprays, or you buy some extra kids underwear. You buy a glass of Chardonnay, a bottle of Chardonnay, and later you will see, new batteries are coming to as offers, because that data knows that, they're going to have the habit of summer camp. So let's offer more related products, right? Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. We can see how this habit loop works in every single aspect of our lives. The second one is a case they studied. They compared it together. It was very interesting, and I learned a lot. It's the case of 2 people that were convicted in court. The first one was a man who used to sleepwalk from when he was a teenager, and later they noticed that he has Parkinson. Okay. So one day, early in the morning, after when they were camping outside, he wakes up and he calls cops. And he says, I just noticed I killed my wife. He killed his wife because he was dreaming while sleepwalking. And in his nightmare, he saw a man is attacking his wife. And he killed the man in his dream, but it was his wife. The second person, have that story there. The second person is a woman who has three kids, and she, after the last kid goes to school, the first day she has the house for herself, she says, oh my God, I'm gonna go nuts now. What should I do? I don't have any identity. And she tells to herself, okay, if I can't get it till noon, I will do something for myself to make myself happy. Next thing to know, she is in casino gambling. A long story that is very interesting, and I really encourage you to read the book for that one story. Short, after quitting hundreds of times, changing her address, changing her cell phone for hundreds of times to avoid the casino's offers coming to her door, she lost her house, she lost her savings, her husband's savings, the parents passed away, and she inherited a $1 million house. She lost that one too, and on top of that, she owed the casino for more than $200,000. So the casino took her to court for that debt, right? Both lawyers had a statement to make. The Parkinson man's lawyer says he is not guilty because he did not choose to kill his wife. The casino's lawyer said she is guilty because although her lawyer says the habits were taking over her actions, she chose her habits. Right? So we can see the man was free, he wasn't guilty, of course. But the woman, at the end, she was supposed to pay for that debt. Why? Because she chose her habits, right? That she let the habits to take over whatever was happening to her. So, my friends, what did we learn so far? We learned the framework for habit is first to identify the routine, the component of your loop. Second, to experiment with rewards. Think of yourself as a scientist in the data collection state. What do you want to do with that many of data you have? Target is using it to sell more to you. What do you want to do with your data? Adjust your routine so it delivers a different reward for you. It's up to you. You can work on it. And by experimenting different rewards, you can isolate what you are actually craving, which is essential in redesigning your habits. And isolate the cue. The cue can be location, time, emotional state, other people. Next week, we will talk about it. People who are surrounding you are the most important ones that can help you to implement your habits. And then have a plan. You can change to a better routine by planning for the cue and choosing different behavior that delivers the reward you are craving for. And obviously, my friends, changing some habits can be really difficult. And of course, change will take a long time. It will take a long time, and it's a gradual. It starts with keystone habits, small wins, little wins that they add on and they create a bigger wave in your life. And sometimes it requires the repeated experiments and failure, of course. But once you understand how a habit operates, once you diagnose the cue, the routine, and the reward, you can gain power over them. And the last one, which is thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to stay on this page for a couple of seconds. If people want to take note here, Solmaz's contact number is here. If you want to connect, She's also available on Instagram, Powerful Life Coaching. If you search, you can find her for sure.
Yeah, sure.
And it was great. Thank you. It was a great presentation. We are not done yet. We need you.
Yes, questions. Questions.
Absolutely.
Questions.
You talk about the most important muscle in the body, and I agree with you.
Show me your muscle.
I have this, and I love it. In all my seminars, I use this. And one of my students was saying, one day I'm going to steal this from you. I said, you can't. It's going to be staying with me all the time.
Put it as a reward, Ali Reza. Whatever my clients like from stuff I have, like that brain, I have a ball. I say, okay, then let's see if you get this and this and this as a reward. I will get this for you.
For sure. I'm not going to give away this. This is my favorite because I just have one and only one. And I have also some stress balls, all the different types of emotions, because I talk about emotions and the mind. So I have all colors. It's available in 6 colors. You can also find it in on Amazon. Perfect. So
any questions?
We are open to questions. You can ask question. You can choose to keep your video turned off. And if you can type the question as well, I'm going to read and we're going to answer. She's going to answer. Solmaz is going to help.
Yeah, sure.
So please go ahead if you have any question with regards to habits and any of the 3 components of it. The craving, you can ask. Let me see if we have any question. Sina said, great job, Solmaz. I love this book.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Awesome.
I'm happy you liked it. The book is amazing. I have read it hundreds of times. Each time with each client, I will go through it again.
Beautiful.
As I said.
Right. Just a thing. It's very interesting because when I talk to you, you send me the list of books. And then I called Sina and I said, Sina, I need 4 books from you. He said, I can go for more than that. I said, 4 is enough. And he mentioned the power of habits. And I said, oh, you see, he's holding it. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. This is already taken. I can talk to Solmaz, but I know Solmaz loves it as well. So this is definitely a book that is very interesting. What is it, Sina?
She did much better than me.
Oh, thank you.
You're
so
very
sweet.
kind. You're very kind. Thank you. There is. I thought there is a question.
Question, guys. Top. You don't have any challenges with some habits? I'm here to fight with them. Ali Reza, since you had read the book too, what is the one thing that it dawned on you today? Was there anything different for you?
Well, I love the way you put them together. I'm basically very much a fan of general picture, the big picture. So I always love reading summaries of books. When I was doing my doctorate degree, I went through the abstract of 2,000 articles. 2,000. Wow. So it's like, I just love, before I buy any book, I have to read a summary of it so that I get the idea, and then I will dive into it. But it was great because you put them together very well. It was,
thank you.
Since there was a picture, there was visualization. I think people understood, people had a better sense of what is happening. And I think it was clear. Definitely, this is one of my favorite books. And we have to go through books over and over and over.
I know.
There is so much
learning.
I
learned a lot with this book, with a couple of my clients, especially one of them who was struggling with smoking for the longest time. We found underneath the root of lots of his problems from back in the time that he was teenager. And we could see how this routine has been changing throughout each decade of his life, but still the cue was the same. Reward and routine had changed, but the cue was the same. And we changed the cue. That, as I said, watch the people you're hanging out with. That's influencers in next week's book. Yeah, definitely.
And even in my practices, because in NLP also we talk about habits and everything. The most important thing is what triggers a routine or a habit. And once for all of us, once we understand, once we find out the moment before which we go to the automatic or autopilot kind of behavior. If we catch ourselves and we can redefine what's going to happen, then we can change the habits. It's not that complicated. And of course, it really depends, because when it goes to the body, it becomes a part of us. And once we are in a situation, the cue is there, the condition is just like before, and it just switches to the automatic behavior. We don't even think about it and everything. But we can actually stop it before it goes to that certain stage.
Yeah, we can. We could.
We could. We could and we can.
So no questions? Seriously?
I have some questions. If they don't ask you questions, I have enough questions for you.
Okay,
don't worry.
go ahead.
All right. So you've been dealing with lots of clients, I think, who had issues with regards to their habits. So what are your what are your insights? What are the pieces of advice you can give us after reading this book?
The first thing, that's a very interesting question. The first thing we can do is to be present to kind of habits we carry throughout our daily life. Like I used to, at night, I used to sit with my husband, have a glass of wine or sometimes tea, and watch TV shows. And after a while, I saw that, okay, the trigger is sunset, and the ritual is pouring something, doesn't matter what kind of drink it is, even a hot water, and watching TV show. So I'm craving for TV show. That's how I observed myself. Mm-hmm. What did I change? Before sunset, we have dancing session at home. We play music, we dance as a family to put my son in bed after. Once the endorphin goes that up, I don't want to sit and watch anything. I want to do something better again, right?
Right.
So I could see it and I changed it in that way. For many people, it's the same. You should see what is repeatedly happening in your life and what is in your advantage, what is not. And as I said, you can change it. You can replace your habits. You can pivot the way you're living your habits.
Right, absolutely. We have two questions. We had two questions, but I skipped them. So I noticed with the help of Arvind. Thank you, Arvind, for the reminder. Okay, so one question from Mujgan is, what she means is, what are the top 3 healthy habits?
It depends.
Top 3 healthy habits.
Good question. It depends what's healthy for you. For me, is starting my day earlier than like if I have a meeting at 8, I should start my day at 6. I should be freshening up my body, my soul, my mental system. And another healthy habit, my friends, these days is hanging out with people who are positive, who are mostly focused on positive stuff. Those who talk about something good that's happening around you. Because what we need these days is positive vibe. And then eat healthy, please. That's another thing. For me, it's those 3.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I think it varies from a person to person, but we have to, with regards to our situation, our life, we have to find 1, 2, or 3 things that can help us be healthier. Not just being healthy, being happy, being productive, being empowered. Yeah, definitely. So the second question, this is I think, very typical question. Many people ask this question, but this is asked by Mariam. She says, how many days do we need to instill a new habit?
There are many, many different ideas about it, right? Yogis say 40 to 41 days. Some say 21 days. 40 is the very kind of lucky number for many, many religions. And but I think once the day you don't think about it and you do it is the day you are done with that habit. You know, it's like you don't think about how you to brush your teeth. You feel it. You wake up, you brush your teeth. You eat your food after. For me, it's like that. I brush my teeth. Or driving. Do you think how to drive? You just drive, right?
Exactly. Right.
I have a question. Surush has a question.
Surush also has a question.
So, Solmaz, you mentioned that you are also into Jung study, and you did a lot of study on Jung. Is there a correlation between your research on Jung and also the habits? How would Jung? What would be Jungian perspective on habits?
Nice question. So yeah, Carl Gustav Jung has, as you may know, has this different personality based on gods and goddess of the old Greek, right? So each of these personalities, like the way that Sarah June was talking about different type of the 4 animals and how their specific, can I bring it in words? Like the type of each animal, we leave them in different ways and it affects our day or our mood. Something like that. Carl Gustav Jung says that it doesn't say we are living our habits. It says we are living the personality that has been affected by certain habits since the day we were born. Since the day, like say a baby, me as a baby was, I was crying in bed and my mom came a little bit late. So as in my personality, it kind of crave that, okay, if I need my mother will not be there. So there is a habit for me. If I cry, I will not have my mother on time, even though if my poor mother came in a minute, right? But for me as a baby, as my type of personality, I will be a needy baby, then needy kid, needy teenager, and I will always have this in my mind that when I need them, they're not there. So I should take over whatever it is. The habit will be implemented in my brain like that. With Jung, power of habits goes in power of different kind of personalities. So Carl Gustav Jung says you can have different kind of personality as a person, and you can live different kind of personality in different times. You are not just Artemis, you are not just Zeus, you are not just Apollo. You have a good combination of all of them, and you just need to be present that which one you want to live in a moment. I hope I answered your question. I can hear you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. So I think you were referring to different personas that we have, right?
Yeah.
Like in different situations, we play different roles in society, at home, and in organizations we're working for.
Yeah.
And everything.
Jung calls them different personalities.
Right. Awesome.
They're all the same, right?
Yeah.
Just different names.
Yeah, definitely. All right. We have one more question here from Shane Doc. She's asking a question about her grandson, and she says, how can I help my grandsons as they aren't companion at all? So probably it's about habits. Maybe it's about, the way we communicate with each other. So what's your answer about it?
I'm thinking that she's referring to the part that I talked about, marshmallow ignoring kids. Okay. That part impressed me a lot. Mm-hmm. This time I was going through book, I was thinking, okay, what else I can do for my son to have more self-discipline, to be more patient, not to jump on the result without going through a healthy process. I think that's the part we need to teach our kids a lot. Mm-hmm. In order for our kids to be more successful in their life. And don't take me wrong, I'm not talking about being successful as a person who has better grades, more money or stuff like that. I think mm-hmm. a person who is happier with whatever they have and they have found the real path in their life, mm-hmm. they are most successful people. I mean, look at these days, right? If we are all equally trapped in our places, right? The person who has a mansion is trapped in their place. I'm entrapped in my place. The one who is living in teeny tiny apartment is trapped in their place, right? The only difference is I'm paying less mortgage or rent than the others. Let's be honest. So we don't say being successful means to have so much money or to have such a good position in this corporation or so. I'm trying to teach my son to be a happy person with whatever he has, but to be patient enough to contribute toward the path that ends to happiness for him. I'm teaching him for everything he needs to work hard. He's just 4.5. He will turn 5. But the other day, he was telling me he was trying to build something with magnetars and it was just falling apart constantly. And he told me, Mommy, listen, hard work and dedication. And my husband said, oh my God, he's a public speaker now. So yeah, I'm telling you, we need to work with our kids in a way that if you want something, you need to pay the price. You can't get whatever you want whenever you want. Life is not like that.
Right.
What else, John?
Perfect. That was the last question. I don't know if Shaindok was referring to being
great.
compassionate.
Compassionate, yeah.
Oh, compassionate.
Another question?
Okay. We have 1 or 2 more minutes. Go ahead. This will be our last question.
Okay. So the new technologies, our devices, they are basically screening every single movement that we have, every behavior that we have in our different social medias and everything. And they are using all of that for their marketing purposes. Basically, they are learning our habits and our behavior much, much better than how we can actually know these things and pick these things ourselves. So I think we are against machine right now. In order to, if we want to change our habits, we definitely need the use of our devices to this time to be on our side, to use it in our advantage. Is there any app or any technology or anything that you would maybe recommend, maybe in our phones or in our personal devices, that helps us pick our bad habits? And maybe also something as simple as, your screen time on your Instagram can be only monitored by the device itself. If you want to do it yourself, you would be probably not so successful. So using those sort of things, what else do you recommend, or you maybe have experience working with that can help us detecting our bad habits?
I'm going to be fast since we don't have that much of time. That's a concern of every single individual these days. I had a workshop a couple of months ago about procrastination, and I was talking about the distractions, one of them being this social media. And as a joke, I said, you either can delete all these extra apps or you can add another one on top of it to control every single app usage. But honestly, see what triggers you to touch your cell phone. What makes you to unlock your cell phone and do something with social media? We are not babies to just take away our toys and say, no, you can't touch it, right? For me, I learned if I want to use my Audible app to listen to a book, instead of just listening and at the same time just surfing, I put my cell phone on flight mode. Nothing in this world could happen, that emergency that is so urgent, that makes me to answer or go through at the time, right? Focus on one task. This habit of multitasking is a hugest mistake of human being. We cannot multitask, period. I can't talk more. We are 2 minutes over.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you so
John,
much.
I saw a couple of people asking for my contact info.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Instagram account is Powerful Life Coaching with 1 L. Or you can take my number here and contact me. Yeah, it's 416. Or my email is 416
No problem.
416-876-5080, or my email is solmaz at my last name, barghgir.com.
Yes, perfect. All right, thank you so much,
very
Solmaz.
much. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed your engagement. Thank you very much. Iris-Hocam, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I think your topic next week is going to complete what you already started here.
Yeah.
So if people are eager to find out more about how they can change their habits, definitely the compound effect is going to be very, very helpful, and it's going to complement whatever is actually explained today. Thank you, Solmaz, again.